How can we make better decisions when all the information isn't available? That's what I'm struggling with. I know we're coaches. I know we want to coach, but so much of what has consumed my time over the last 6 months has very little to do with the actual tactical part of coaching. So here's the decision. This was the question that we just had. Here's one lens. He can see from A's perspective. So that's the only thing that he's looking at, whether that's all of the different varieties of decisions and issues that we have all been dealing with as leaders. Many times, we're only looking at it from our vantage point. But I've learned so much over the last 6 months that a lot of the times my vantage point is just my bias on what I think the right answer is. I'm prisoner A and I go, I can see B and C, it's 50-50, that's good enough. But I think that I'm trying to get to a point where as I'm trying to solve a decision, I change my vantage point. So I know how to look at it from this vantage point where I'm at, and then I need to move so that I can see the next decision point. So I have a different vantage point. So obviously you can keep going around the decision, but I think what's important for us in all of the things that we're doing is how am I going to get to that? When am I going to have to decide that? Et cetera, et cetera. And so I have to keep moving figuratively around this decision so that I can make a decision, sometimes not having all of the information. And so that as I move around that decision, I can think just specific to the vantage point that I'm looking at. And whether that's specific to the virus, whether that's specific to the changes that the virus has caused, there's so many moving parts, and it seems like, this is my opinion, that each day the moving parts change because new information becomes available. And so the decision that I need to make with each passing day, sometimes I have more accurate information, sometimes I have less accurate information, but the issue is I still have to make a decision. When I make this decision, whatever this decision is, and I would say all of us to some degree as coaches, we've always made decisions based on what problem does this solve? When I make this decision, what problem does it solve? And I think what I have learned throughout all of this over the last 25 weeks or so is not just what decision does this solve. I have to be able to change my vantage point so that I can think through as best as possible what problems does this decision create. Because it seems like I make a decision and I'm like, this is the right decision. It doesn't matter what category it is, specific to our staff, specific to our roster, specific to our future roster. This decision, this solves that. But because things have become so volatile relative to the decisions that we make, I've realized that I need to begin to think as I'm making a decision, not only what problems am I solving, but what problems